Well, now to an unexpected twist in the anguished debate over Birmingham City Council's planned clean air zone. A local Labour MP and former councillor, who's normally a strong supporter of his party's council administration, has branded the proposals amateurish, unnecessary and based on lies about how many lives are being lost because of poor air quality. So now Khalid Mahmood wants a referendum. And as Catherine Stancheshin tells us, local businesses aren't happy either.
On the big day, it's all about the dress. But Lyndon Checketts, who runs this shop in the jewellery quarter, is worried for his future brides, all because of Birmingham's plans to tackle air pollution with a clean air charge.
Why would a bride want to come into the jewellery quarter and pay that extra money when there's other wedding dress shops elsewhere that are outside of that zone?
Last week, senior councillors approved a plan that involves charging the worst polluting vehicles, both commercial and private, to travel into the city centre. Exact amounts haven't been confirmed, but figures on the table are between £6 and £10 for cars and up to £100 for lorries and buses.
The revenue is going to drop. The VAT that people pay as retailers is going to drop. So it's a catch-22 situation. They haven't really thought it through properly.
From wedding dresses to tipper trucks. Not too far away, and Mark is hard at work at McGowan's Fleet Yard, right inside the clean air zone. 60 industrial vehicles live here, and that means a tough decision on the horizon.
Well, we might have to look at moving away from here. You know, if it's £100 a day per day, then obviously that will have an impact on the profitability of the business. And that could mean, you know, us losing good staff because they might not want to travel to where we end up relocating to.
Birmingham City Council says it has listened to people's concerns, and it's come up with ways to ease the impact on both individuals and businesses. One of those ways is for companies with vehicles like this one to have 2 exemptions for the first year. A drop in the ocean, says Mark.
It isn't much help, is it? 2 vehicles out of a fleet of our size. It's not really going to make a lot of difference, is it?
The council says nurses and teachers, those visiting hospitals inside the zone and those on low incomes will also be exempt for the first year. But that short grace period is going to cost £36 million, money the government's being asked to provide.
Well, we'll look in detail at the proposals from all the local authorities that are now looking at delivering clean air zones, look at what the finances are of that, what the costs are, what the impacts are.
Not quite a resounding yes then. And now one of the city's Labour MPs has slammed the council's plan, saying the issue's so important there should be a public referendum on it, and also that their figure of 900 deaths attributed to air pollution a year is false.
Well, this is a complete absolute lie, because this is an extrapolated figure from a national study that was done in 2014, has no bearing whatsoever in Birmingham, and I dare anybody to find out for me that there's a single child or a single person has died through the air pollution that is in Birmingham. So
your Labour colleagues have got this wrong?
The Labour Party, the party that I'm a member of, is a party that stands for equality and justice. This scheme does not provide equality and justice for the people of Birmingham. 4 other cities across the country are doing the same sort of thing. Not one of them is charging.
10,000 people responded to a recent public consultation, more than half rejecting the idea of a charge. Still some persuading to do then.
Certainly is, and Birmingham City Council will submit their proposals to the government a week tomorrow, meeting the deadline set by ministers. Well, Catherine is in the zone right now, so Kath, what's in the air this Sunday morning?
Well, there's certainly been a lot of something floating in the air, Patrick. That is controversy. We reported first here on this programme back in January that the government had given the council a September deadline to get that clean air zone plan in, and that zone was likely to be a charging one. Now, there's certainly been plenty of voices praising the council for a bold move on public health, but lots of critics as well. And the man to answer those is with me now, Councillor Wasim Zafar, Cabinet Member for Transport and Environment. So a Labour MP in the city, Khalid Mahmood, says all of this is in fact based on a lie. What do you say to that?
I think as politicians representing this great city, we need to act with maturity and responsibility. And unfortunately, Khalid is absolutely wrong on this argument. I have a lot of respect for Khalid, but he's on the wrong side of this particular argument. This is based on absolute fact from public health reports that have been provided to us and public health reports that cities and the government are using right across this country. 40,000 people nationally die as a result of air pollution in this city, costing this country £20 billion in the economy per year. This is a serious public health crisis that we need to respond to.
You said that you wanted to bring people with you in the city when you put this plan out there. Do you think you've done that? Because the public consultation would suggest otherwise.
Absolutely. We've just gone through the biggest consultation Birmingham City Council has ever carried out. 10,000 citizens, businesses and representative bodies have responded to our call for this consultation. We're very grateful to each and every one of them. Looking at that consultation, many people have said that they need support to get them through this particular major change, the introduction of a clean air zone. And we've responded with a catalogue of mitigation and exemptions that will support the most vulnerable, will support those that live, work and have businesses within the clean air zone area.
Let's come on to the exemptions then, because you heard one business there saying it's a drop in the ocean. Some of the hardest working, the poorest people will get help, but just for 1 year. Do you believe that's enough?
So at this moment of time in the preferred option business case, we are saying a 12-month exemption period. However, within the same report, we've made it absolutely clear before we put the full business case in, that may change, that may increase in time. My message to those that live, work and have business in the areas, Birmingham City Council will work with you, will support you through this major change.
If you don't get the money from government then for these exemptions, do you change the plan?
We are very confident that we will get the money. We have the support of Andy Street, who will get us the money.
But if you don't, will you change the plan?
We will have to take another look at the plans if we do not get the £36 million to support those businesses.
Thank you very much, Councillor Wasim Zafar. So the wheel's very much now in motion, Patrick. Big change for Birmingham right around the corner.
Kath, thank you very much indeed. And we've just seen Chris Grayling being sort of studiedly non-committal there, but doesn't Birmingham City Council really have a point that the government, given that it's your government that's put them on the spot with this, should put some serious money into mitigating the effects and helping with the implementation?
Well, look, I've actually got some reservations about this scheme myself. I think that the devil's in the detail for it. The government didn't mandate a scheme which was to charge private vehicles. There was lots of options that were on the table for Birmingham City Council. They've made the decision to go down this route, and I'm not convinced that looking at the detail this is the right scheme for Birmingham. And actually I've got some sympathy with Khalid's point that if you're going to go ahead with a scheme like this, you're going to need to get widespread public support, potentially through a referendum. And
Khalid and Wasim, as we've heard, very much on opposite sides of this argument, two of your local colleagues. Jack, whose side are you on?
The side of public health. It's a government requirement of Birmingham. Birmingham has no alternative.
I don't think that's true. That's not true, Jack.
But I'm not going to hide behind that. If there is evidence, and there is, that thousands of people die every year as a consequence of pollution, you cannot ignore that evidence. The question is then, what kind of scheme do you put in place?
Quite absolutely
and
right.
Right now, there are big problems about the proposals made by Birmingham City Council, but crucially is then what your government, James, does, because if your government does not will the means, then the scheme will not go ahead. If the scheme does not go ahead, we'll continue to have people die in Birmingham.
We need to be doing stuff in order to improve air quality, but I don't think this is the right scheme. The government didn't mandate this particular scheme for Birmingham.
And just briefly, Gisela, you have a bit of a role on this issue coming up.
I chair a commission on effective government, and one of the things is we're looking at transport and how you devolve decisions down. And I think what's quite clear is that I think councils should have greater powers, they should have greater money-raising powers, but then they have to make sure that they've got local buy-in. And I think on air pollution, it's nonsense to deny it.
We'll see what happens. Thanks very much indeed. OK, you are the Liberal Democrat leader. You have no MPs in this part of the country. You control just one local authority in Cheltenham.